Today I'll be taking you through a tutorial about how to add a batch on the WECs portal. So once you've logged into the portal, click on Add Batch. This is on the left hand side of your screen underneath Logout. From here you'll need to enter your details, and any section that has a red star next to it cannot be left blank as these require input. The first three sections is where you'll need to enter the wine company, the vintage, and the region. You can use each of the corresponding drop-down menus to locate what you want. If there's a special process, you can select this within the next section. For example, if it's sparkling, you can expand the drop-down menu and then select sparkling. Once complete, you will then need to enter the grape variety. But because there's no drop-down menu, you'll need to start typing the first three letters. For example, if I wanted to enter rosé for this, I would start typing ROS. A drop-down menu of possible options will then appear. From here, I would just need to click Rosé. The next section is where you'll need to enter the main wine name as it appears on the label. Two of the sections have already been entered for you automatically. However, you can fill in the other two sections by typing it yourself. You will then need to enter the winemaker WSMP number. If you are unsure on what to enter here, please contact the winery. For the winemaker reference section, it's recommended that you enter the bottling number. You will then need to select the colour and style, and also the tank volume, but please keep in mind that this is in litres. If you have more than one label, please click on Add Wine Name. You can fill out this section as many times as needed. Once complete, click here to save. This is where you are able to view your batch status as well as any general information. But before you can complete this process, you'll need to work your way through each of these tabs. If the wine is going to be exported to EU, click on this tab, scroll down to the bottom of your screen, and then fill out the EU eligibility details. As I mentioned before, any section that has a red star next to it cannot be left blank as these require input. In this first section, you'll need to enter a geographic indication. You can use the drop-down menu to do this. You can then state whether the wine has been enriched or not. It's important to note here that if you choose the wrong option, the winemaker will dispute it. If it's disputed, it will appear in the Action Required area, which I'll show you later on in this tutorial. In the next section, you will then need to select the EU wine category from the drop-down menu. Before moving on to the next section, you will need to declare that only permitted practices have been used in processing the wine. You can do this by ticking this checkbox. Once this is complete, click here to save. Now, if the wine is going to be exported to Brazil, you'll need to fill out the Brazil eligibility section. You can do this by clicking on this tab, and then scrolling down to the bottom of your page again. It's very similar to the EU eligibility section, and as you can see, the geographic indication has already been entered for you automatically. You will need to declare that only grapes from Vitis vinifera have been used in the manufacture of the wine. You can do this by ticking this checkbox. Once this is complete, click here to save. To add packaging, click on the Add Packaging tab. and then scroll back down to the bottom of your page. This is where you'll need to select the corresponding checkbox for the shipping format that you would like to use. For this example, I'll be using packaged. Once you have selected your chosen format for shipping, an added section should then appear. The added section may be slightly different depending on which format for shipping you selected. If you selected package, you'll need to select the bottler WECs number. You can do this by typing the first 3 digits and then selecting the one you want, just as we have been doing previously. To view the bottling run section, scroll down to the bottom of your page. Within this section, you'll need to enter the number of cases, the number of extra bottles, the number of bottles per case. You will need to select the bottle size, the bottling date, and you'll also need to enter the bottler reference. It's recommended that you enter the bottling number for this as well. If you would like to add another run, you can do so by clicking this button. Then once you have entered the necessary details, you can calculate the total litres by clicking this button. As you can see, it will calculate it for you automatically. It's important to remember not to tick the completed checkbox until you have confirmed the bottling run details. Once complete, click here to save. To add a package sample, click on the last remaining tab. If you chose bulk rather than package in the previous section, this tab will appear as bulk sample. And then scroll down to the bottom of your page. To add a sample, select the date of which the sample was collected. If you select today's date, you'll be able to go back and edit once you have confirmed your final packaging. The sensory sample section will update automatically for you when you click save. You will only need to add a sensory test for a taste, but if it's for EU, you'll need both a sensory test and a chemistry test. So to create a chemistry test from here, click on Add Chemistry Test. And then scroll down to the bottom of the page. First, you'll need to select the chemistry test laboratory. For this example, I'll be using Assure Quality. Then you'll need to select the chemistry test that is required. For this example, I'll be using EU. Once complete, enter the expected alcohol content and the laboratory test charge. But keep in mind the expected alcohol content will need to be a percentage. You will then need to declare that the above amount is the accurate cost of analysis and agree that if MPI provides you with a rebate, they will also issue a buyer-created tax invoice and you will not issue a tax invoice to MPI. You can do this by ticking both of the checkboxes. Once complete, scroll back down to the bottom of your page and click Save. If you would like to delete the chemistry test from here, you can do so by clicking this button. Then scroll back down to the bottom of the page. From here you can click Save and it will successfully add a batch. And as I mentioned before, the sensory test section will update automatically when you click Save. You may remember me mentioning earlier on in this tutorial about the Action Required section. You can access this section by returning back to the home page. You can do this by clicking Home, which is at the top left-hand side of your screen. To view the action required of any batches that you have started to submit, click on Action Required in the Batch Management section. This is where any batches will appear that are incomplete or that are being disputed. From here, you are able to open them to make any amendments that are required. Please check regularly if you are waiting on a status of a batch, as you will not get an alert if something has been disputed. Now, one last important tip. If you have received your final case count, you should go back and review the dates or volumes that are outstanding by editing and saving them. You will also need to tick the complete checkbox, which I showed you earlier, as this will allow WECs to approve the packaging. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you can now successfully add a batch.